What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P, and we are back once again. Shout out to everybody in LNU. We are live on LNU. We are also live on Motor City Cat. So make sure that right after the show, or if you got to dip out early, as soon as you dip out, just go on over to Motor City Cats and smash that subscribe button. Also, smash that like button. And make sure you get in the chat as well. We have a lot of stuff to get to today in today's show. We've got some, maybe some shade, or maybe not some shade. We're talking about the Lions record predictions. Now, we already did ours last week, but there's some odds that have come out. And it's all a buzz. A lot of people are talking about the odds. So we're going to go ahead and jump in to the conversation and make sure we have our voices and our opinions heard about this situation. Now, if you are in the chat, make sure you come in, you say, "What up, though?" and get your opinion heard. We are going to have a very chat-centric show today. We're going to talk to the chat a lot. We're going to put chat comments up on the screen. So make sure you get in there, make sure you start talking, and make sure you answer the questions and put your predictions up. We're also going to get into some PFF stuff because, you know, PFF out here wilding once again. PFF, they're just not consistent. Well, they are consistent. They're consistently inconsistent. So we're going to talk about PFF and another one of their lists, which may make some sense or does not make some sense. It all depends on how you look at the things. So we'll go ahead and get into it right now. Today, we are talking about the Lions. Are they betting favorites? Are they not betting favorites? This, that, and the third thing. A lot of people believe that the Detroit Lions will take a huge step back. There are a lot of Lions fans that think that the Detroit Lions will take a huge step back. I'm not one of them. I think the regular season, as we said last week when we looked at our schedule, the schedule doesn't look as tough as it once did. Once you kind of saw everything and you saw where you were playing, when you were playing, we already knew who we were playing. Okay, but it was the win. A lot of cold weather teams beginning of the season. So if you're one of those people that's freaking out about playing outside, oh man, you know, got to go to Lambeau. We're going to Lambeau first game of the season. Ain't nothing frozen about that tundra in September, right? Going to Baltimore week 3, going to Kansas City week 6, right? The last game that we have that's going to be really cold is the Chicago Bears week 17. And hopefully that game won't mean much, but we'll talk about something a little bit later that says that game might mean something, and we'll get into everything. But here we go. The Lions came very close to setting an NFL record last week, but the benefits will still be felt from second all time. All right. So where is this? That's not what I was looking for. All right. I had an article, but they used the same picture for the article. So I just grabbed that one, and it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. All right. So let's see if we can get to it. We should be able to. There we go. All right. That's what happens, folks. Sometimes people just be using the same pictures. I mean, we do have a limited number of pictures of our guys, not very limited, but yeah, we don't have an infinite amount, but you could have used a different picture. All right, so the Lions are the betting favorites in the majority of 2025 NFL games. This is from Detroit Lions on SI John Macaron. All right, so we're going to get right into what it is. The current Lions odds for the 2025 regular season. So I'm not a betting man, but I believe that plus money means that you are favored. Is that correct? Someone in the chat, let me know. What up, though, K ain't pressed. So if you are a person that does the betting, go ahead and help me out. I believe plus money means that you are favored. Okay. So let's see here. Week 1 at Packers, Lions plus 1.5. Okay. The Lions plus 1.5. Now, somebody in the chat, help me out with that. Tell me what that means. Does that mean that the Detroit Lions are favored in that situation? And if they're favored, I'm guessing it is a very slim favorite because it's plus 1.5. Not a huge thing. Okay. But the odds makers in Las Vegas believe that the Detroit Lions will start the season off on the road, go to Lambeau, and get the dub. Right? Or is that, yeah, I think, yeah, okay. Plus money. I don't know. Somebody help me out. Somebody help me out in the chat. So week 2 versus the Bears. Okay, so all right. So if it's plus 1.5, that means if you bet $10, you get 15 on the win. Is that what it is? I think that's what it is. We got a lot of people watching. Make sure y'all get in that chat. As I said, help your boy out. This is going to be an interactive show. We are going to talk to the chat a lot today, so we got to get people in here talking. So week 2 versus the Bears. Let me see here. We are minus 4.5. Okay. So no. All right, I got it wrong. The plus 1.5 is a road is an underdog. Okay. So the odds makers believe, okay, now let me change that. The odds makers believe that we are going to go into Lambeau week 1 and lose to the Packers, but it is not by much. As I said, I believe if you bet $10, you get 15 or something of that nature. Boss up, ball out. What up, though, Kurt Steele? Plus means you are the underdog. Gotcha. Okay, so if you are the underdog, if it's plus 1.5, am I correct on the bet $10, win 15 if it hits? Is that what it is? Or bet $10 and win 5 because you come out with 15, I guess, right? That's the math that goes on there. Let's see. So the Detroit Lions are going to go into Lambeau Field and lose based on Vegas. Now, obviously, I have my thoughts and opinions on that. I don't believe Mr. Detroit City loves ice cream sandwiches. I'm glad you do. Okay, you have to look at the money line. You see, this is why I don't bet. It's too much. It's too much stuff going on. All right, so we'll just go with the plus minus. All right, if it's plus money, you're the underdog. If it's minus money, you are favored. So I don't believe that the Detroit Lions will go into Lambeau and lose first game of the season. Based on what? Obviously, we got to make sure that we see what happens in training camp. Who's going to be healthy? Who's going to be available? But what have the Packers done really to get better, to become a better team that will overcome the Detroit Lions? Because the Packers were not the better team. The Packers have not been the better team in quite some time, right? Our roster stacking up against the Packers roster and recent history tells you that we're probably going to beat the Packers. Now, I have not been a person that picks sweeps of divisions, but we swept the division last year, and I think the year before that we lost one game. Okay, well, we lost 1 or 2 games, so 10 and 2 or 11 and 1 in the last 2 years. I'll take it. I'll take it to mean that we do have a firm control grasp over this division. Now, are we going to blow people out? in the division, I never pick divisional blowouts. It happens sometimes. Okay. 31-9 Vikings. Okay. It happens, but I don't pick them. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Obviously, guys, throw your opinion of game number one in there. Gonna go game by game. This dude. We lost two. Okay. So 10-2. Man, I'll pick you to win the division. I'll pick you to sweep it even. It's not so far fetched anymore. All right. So Mr. Detroit City says, look at the spread change with the price of ice cream over the years. So I won't be doing that. Ice cream is still pretty cheap. So if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Now, week 2 versus the Bears, the Lions are -4.5, which means we are favored. I don't believe that anybody believes that this is wrong, right? The Lions are favored over the Bears. They are at home. Osama bin Johnson is coming in. I don't think that he gets the win. I'm sorry. I don't think Dan Campbell. I don't think the Detroit Lions. Okay. I don't even think Dan Campbell is going to have to give a pep talk for this game. Okay. I don't think he's going to have to, like, he could probably just walk in to the locker room and be like, gentlemen, you know what it is. You know what we got to get done. Oh, Lusama over there. You know what it is. Come on now. I'm not even going to waste my time talking to y'all. I think that's what Dan Campbell has to do when he goes in there. Last 2 years, we lost on game 2 at home. Could go either way, honestly. Rumor has it. Rumor has it Ben and Caleb are coming out with a signature nail polish like that rookie from the 76ers. I would not deny it. I would not deny it. So yeah, I think we're good on that one. Now, game number 3, week 3 at the Ravens. The Lions are +1, 3.5. Okay. Now, I've said this before. I worry about the Ravens. I worry about the Ravens because I worry about the dynamic of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. I picked that one as a loss. Okay, so I'm not too mad at the odds makers for picking that one as a loss as well, or favoring the Ravens. Obviously, if they're favoring the Ravens, that means they think the Ravens are going to win. Okay, week number 1, don't agree. Okay, it is a divisional opponent. It could go either way. Aiden Hutchinson will be back. He did not play the Packers last year. He did not play the Bears last year. So it is what it is. I think he will want some not even get back because we didn't lose, but he just wants to bring some sacks to the party. You know, he wants to join in. So I don't think week number 1 is an L. All right. Mr. Detroit City says, let the books have us as underdogs, more money in our pockets. If you partake. I do not know what I'm doing. All right. Now, week 4 versus the Browns, the Lions are -10.5. I think that shows you everything that you need to know. The Bears were -4.5. Then we jump all the way to -10.5 versus the Browns. I don't think anybody has us losing that. The Browns are in complete disarray. They've tried really hard to fix their quarterback situation by throwing things against the wall and seeing what sticks. That is what they're doing. That is their strategy right now. So I really don't believe that the Browns will come in here and do anything. It's just not going to happen. All right. Week number 5 at Bengals. Lions are -1.5. Okay. I think this has everything to do with the fact that the Bengals do not have a defense. I think it has everything to do with the fact that the Bengals don't have a defense. And while already not having a defense, their first overall pick or their first round pick, Shamar Stewart, is unsigned because they're quibbling and squabbling over some what was it? Some money language in the contract. I forget exactly what it was. I think it was like training camp bonuses or something like that. So he's holding out already. We know what's happening with Trey Hendrickson. Okay, we've kept an eye on that situation here in Detroit, even though it probably won't bear any fruit for us. And I've heard some pretty crazy stuff about the Bears really trying to get him, which I don't like. I don't want to see Trey Hendrickson and Montez Sweat on the same team twice a year. Now, do I think that pushes them to a win? We have to see what Osama bin Johnson is able to do. Some people are fantastic coordinators, not great head coaches. So I don't know that puts them to a win or not, but it's still not something you want to see. You don't want to see your division rivals with two bookend pieces like that. It's just not something you want to deal with. Tell them get their Travis Hunter on out there in Cincy. Their Travis Hunter on out there. Who's going to be Travis Hunter in Cincy? Anybody? Is it going to be Jamar Chase? All right. But yeah, I do believe that this is based off of the Bengals and their defensive woes. They're going to have a hell of an offense, right? Like they always do, but they can't stop anybody. So it'll probably be a shootout up there. But the Detroit Lions probably will come out with the dub. I should say down there, right? Chiefs. Lions are +3. We're at the Chiefs. Now, I can see it. This is name value and the fact that the Chiefs are at home. But I'll tell you this. When you look at the Chiefs last year, how did they perform in the regular season last year? They were 15-2, but nobody believed that they were 15-2, right? It was nip and tuck. It was a lot of struggle. It wasn't the high flying Chiefs offense. It was a lot of ugly, close games, winning games late and things of that nature. I think the Lions are adept at that too. But I'm not mad at the odds makers for saying that the Lions are not favored in this game because Kansas City is at home. It is an away game. And Kansas City is who Kansas City is. You know, Kansas City is going to be Kansas City until they stop being Kansas City. If you know, you know. And I think all of us know what that means. Now, the next one is back home versus the Buccaneers. The Lions are -3.5. Okay. So if we're keeping score, week number 1, week number 3, week number 6. That's 3 games where the Lions are underdogs. 1, 3, and 6. Okay. All right. Week number 7, Buccaneers, Lions -3.5. I heard all throughout the draft process that the Buccaneers were going to get a linebacker. I heard that the Buccaneers were not going to pass up on Jihad Campbell. He was not going to get past them, but he wound up going 32 to the Eagles. So who did they draft? I believe it was Emmanuel Egbuka. They drafted a wide receiver. With us adding DJ Reed, with us returning Terrion Arnold and Amik Robertson, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, whatever Ennis Rakestraw can give you in his second year, if he can stay healthy, if he can, demonstrate some of those traits that they took him for, that they drafted him for. I'm not afraid of Emmanuel Egbuka. Is Chris Godwin gonna. I don't think Chris Godwin is gonna be back from his injury. I think his injury happened really late in the season. Was it the last game of the season? I believe. So Chris Godwin's not gonna be there. So you're gonna have Mike Williams and Emmanuel Egbuka. Uh, now, Mike Evans. Sorry, did I call him Mike Williams? Yeah, Mike Evans. Now, unfortunately, I believe the task of guarding Mike Evans is going to fall to Terry Arnold. I just don't think you put 5'9" DJ Reed on a 6'5" receiver. I just don't think you do it. So you get the taller, rangier, lengthier Terrion Arnold, and you put him on Mike Evans. Look, as I've said before, Terrion Arnold, very sticky in coverage. Got to just make sure he works on getting his head around and trusting his technique. That's really all that he needs to do. PFF has him as their breakout candidate for the Detroit Lions, but sometimes PFF, I don't know. When they're right, they're right. When they're wrong, they're really, really, really wrong. And we'll see some of that a little bit later. But I'm just not afraid of Baker Mayfield and their receiving core. They're going to have a really good defense, obviously. They always do under Todd Bowles. But I don't know. I'm just not afraid of them. And as I said, the Lions are favored. They are minus 3.5 in that game. All right, week 9 versus the Vikings. The Lions are minus 4.5. We don't really have to get in too much with the Vikings. We know the Lions have owned the Vikings. I mean, I think in the last 9 games against them, we're 8-1 or something like that. It's, they've got a rookie quarterback. He will have had, I guess, 8 games before. I don't know when their bye week is. So he'll have 7-8 games before he comes to town to play the Detroit Lions to get his first taste of, football in Detroit as an overwhelming underdog, because he's not going to have anybody rooting for him or cheering for him. Y'all bet not. I don't want to see no split jerseys. I don't want to see no damn JJ McCarthy, Michigan one side and freaking Vikings the other side. I don't want to see that, man. You're a Lions fan. If you're a Lions fan, then you stay loyal to the soil. Don't be wearing no jersey from no opposing player. You're not that dude's father. That's what parents do, right? The St. Brown brothers' parents, you know what they do. They come in when his Equanimous is on Chicago. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown on one side, Equanimous on the other side. When he's with the Packers, same thing. Lions on one side, Packers on the other side. Lions on one side, Bears on the other side. Okay? And when Equanimous gets signed by the Vikings, it'll be Lions on one side, Vikings on the other side. That's how that works. But I'm not afraid of the Vikings, and the odds makers aren't afraid of them either. Okay, now, here's one that I disagree with. It's very small. It's a very small margin. But Lions at Commanders, we are plus 1.5. I don't know who Zena Levy is, but I will look that up. The Commanders game, listen. We didn't lose that game because Jaden Daniels was the second coming. We didn't lose that game because the Washington Commanders defense was so stout. We didn't lose that game because we couldn't stop the Commanders. We lost that game because we turned the football over an inordinate amount of times. And the Washington Commanders didn't turn it over once. We had the game in hand. We were going up 14-3, and then it unraveled. The proverbial poop, hit the fan. So while the Commanders did get Laramie Tunsil and Debo Samuel in the offseason, I think Laramie Tunsil is a cancellation. I think he cancels out. And what he cancels out with is the fact that when we played the Commanders in the playoffs, we couldn't get to Jaden Daniels. So if he makes it difficult for you to get to Jaden Daniels again, if the game goes entirely the same way and you remove the turnovers, and you don't even have to give any turnovers to the Washington Commanders, you remove the turnovers from the Detroit Lions, and you go just even. Is it a shootout? Yes. Do the Lions win? Yes. So I don't believe that. Again, very small margin, plus 1.5. The odds makers aren't expecting us to get handled, but they're expecting us to go into Washington and come out with the L. And I just don't think that we will. All right. At Eagles, the Lions are plus 3.5. Same spread as the Ravens, plus 3.5. And as I said, you've got the same dynamic. Lamar Jackson, I believe, is a better quarterback all around than Jalen Hurts. Derrick Henry versus Saquon Barkley is very close. They're different kinds of backs. I'm just gonna. This might be personal bias, and you're nitpicking in this conversation. I'm just gonna give Derrick Henry the nod, but it's gonna be the same type of dynamic. The only difference I believe with Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson is that Lamar is a better passer, and I know a lot of people have this thought process that Lamar Jackson's a running back that can't throw the football or whatever. Just go back and watch the tape. Go back and watch his season last season when he was leading the NFL in passing yards. Right? I believe he led the NFL in total touchdowns, right? No. Some people believe he was robbed. He was robbed for the MVP. Right? So I think Lamar Jackson is just a better overall and all-around player and quarterback than Jalen Hurts. I think if you can minimize the run game and force Jalen Hurts into a shootout passing battle, I don't think that the Philadelphia Eagles are too well built for that. So I get they're the Super Bowl champions, but this is later in the season. We're talking about week 11. So, a lot can change. So I don't agree with the plus 3.5 though. Kyle Hamilton is better than Cooper, Mitchell, any of them. What up, though, Zach J? Kyle Hamilton is better than any DB of Philly. I do not disagree. The Giants, do we really need to get into that one? The Lions are minus 8.5 on that one. In the second game versus the Packers, it's going to happen in Detroit, and they've given us minus 2.5. So they believe that our home cooking is a little bit better than Lambeau Field's home cooking. Okay. They just split you in the division, which is not abnormal. I'm not mad at that. Week 14 versus Cowboys, Lions are minus 6. Okay. After we beat the brakes out of them dudes and throttled them last season. Unfortunately, Aiden Hutchinson went out. He probably would have had 3 more sacks that game. After we did what we did to them because of the embarrassment of the previous year. It actually wasn't embarrassment. It was because of the robbery. Okay. We were mad that we got robbed, and we wanted to show everyone that the Dallas Cowboys were not the team that they said that they were, right? They needed help from the referees. They also got some help from Derek Barnes, but we're not going to get into that. But the Dallas Cowboys are underdogs in Detroit, week 14. I believe the odds makers are spot on that. All right. Rams at Rams. The Lions are -1.5. I did a video, I think it was yesterday, about Matthew Stafford not being able to keep our name out of his mouth, where his mouth started twitching when he was on the NFL schedule reveal show, and they said that they said that the Rams would lose to the Lions, and his face has got to twitching. He was trying to keep that smile on his face with those veneers that he bought when he went to LA. However, didn't work out. I do believe that the Detroit Lions will beat the Rams in SoFi Stadium because they don't have real fans. I think that the Detroit Lions faithful will travel out to Los Angeles and they will take over the stadium, and it'll be like a home game for Detroit. So, yeah, I believe that the Lions will win that one comfortably. Steelers, again, Lions -6. The Lions are -6. They're favored against the Steelers. The Steelers right now, as we are currently talking, do not have a quarterback. Now, obviously, I keep hearing things about Aaron Rodgers coming out of there, blah, 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 blah. Well, if Aaron Rodgers does come out and sign with the Steelers and he's on the roster by week 14, week 16, sorry, then Kirby Joseph, make sure you keep your trophy case locked and loaded and ready, because I think you're going to get another one from your son. All right. Vikings. Lions -2.5. I believe that this is the JJ McCarthy thing. I believe that, again, he is a rookie. If he's running your team, you just may not know what you have. Now, he could come out and be an absolute stud game one. And this is, where the predictions will turn on their head. However, I don't expect that to happen. I do believe that there are going to be some growing pains. He is coming back from injury and so on and so forth. So we'll see. He'll have some early season struggles for sure. But by this time, it's week 17. He may give us, a run for our money, but I don't expect him to come into Detroit and win. So the first one, sorry. Okay. That was Christmas, right? So we are going to go there. Here it says verse the Vikings instead of at the Vikings. So both of the Vikings, it says verse, and we know that that's not the truth. So, yeah. So they got us going into Minnesota on Christmas Day and beating the Vikings. Okay, so I mean, that's respect for us and disrespect for them. So maybe Byron Murphy will make a T-shirt or something. I don't know. Week 18 versus the Bears. Lions Lions -1.5. Okay. The Lions are -1.5. So they've got us favored over the Bears. So I think there were only 5 games in which we were not favored. The crazy thing, right? The crazy thing is this. There's that 10 and a half, over under 10.5 on the Lions win total. And everybody's talking about this. But then the odds makers come out and then tell you that the Lions are going to win 12 games. Right? At least 12 of those games, the Lions are expected to win them. They wouldn't make the odds that way. So how do they go over under 10.5 and then they give the actual game bets and it's not what it said it was outside? So I don't know how they do that, but it is what it is. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the chat. I thought we were trading up for Hamilton when we traded up for JMO. Well, when we traded up for JMO, it wasn't the same type of shock when we traded up for Tesla because we really needed some help. JJ looks like he's 16. Well, he better not play like it. He better not play like he's 16. I'll tell you that much. He's going to get run out the building. All right. So our next topic of conversation is, you guessed it, PFF. Now, PFF put out their under 25 or top 25 under 25 list. I just had to grab this one because and as you can expect, it's PFF, man. So we'll react to it. We'll talk about it. I just don't know. There's a lot of inconsistencies. Let's see. We'll start from number 25. Okay. Number 25 is a Detroit Lion. Do you guys have any guesses? Now, if you know, don't say it. If you don't know, give me your guess. Do you have any guesses? Okay. It's the list starts off in a way, or I guess it finishes, but we'll say it starts off because we're looking from 25, and then we'll do the suspense all the way up to number 1 to see who that is. It is not Laporta. It's Kirby Joseph. Now, my first question is, if this is the top 25 under 25, the guy that's an all-pro safety, the guy that led the league in interceptions, and the guy just got a big fat contract extension in the offseason. Actually, it was a couple of weeks ago. How is he number 25? Because you have to guarantee me that every player on this list who is under 25 is better than Kirby Joseph. That's what you have to guarantee me. If you're going to tell me Kirby Joseph is number 25 on this list, then I better for sure see everybody from 24 all the way to number 1 better than Kirby Joseph. Now, they gave him a 3-year grade because obviously that's the amount of years that he's played. His 3-year grade is 77.7. Snaps played since 2022, 3,076. Average WAR, wins above replacement, since 2022, 0.11. Now, I don't know how they calculate the wins above replacement, but it is what it is. So it says, Joseph would have been much higher on this top 25 list had his All-Pro 2024 campaign, which earned him a large new contract, extended to his previous seasons. So what they're saying is that he's a 1-year wonder, and he didn't ball out previously. But he has the most interceptions in a 3-year span in his first 3 years, next to Ed Reed. His first 3 years. Okay. But that piece right there, when they talk about the 1 year all-pro season, like, okay, because he wasn't an all-pro for all 3 of his years, that's why they're doing that. I just want you to remember that piece as we go along. Okay. He was the top graded safety overall, 90.4, and in coverage 91.1 this past season. But he ranked 50th or lower in PFF coverage grade in each year before 2024. Okay. Just remember this. These stats from this year do not count. Okay, y'all got that? The stats from this year, the performance from this past season does not count. It doesn't have a whole lot of weight in this list. They just were like, oh, Kirby Joseph, he's pretty good. We'll put him on the list. Because what he did this year is an anomaly because he was just trying to get a contract, I guess. All right. So just remember this. We're only talking about this year. We're not really talking about years prior. Okay. However, while those first two seasons were used as a tiebreaker that pushed him down the list, he ultimately deserved to make the cut after an excellent 2024 season. So if his 2024 season had not wound up in an all pro, but it was something similar, y'all wouldn't have put him on the list. Okay. All right. Let's see what y'all got. See, I thought he was 31. LOL. Kirby is better than 25. What the F? Exactly. Okay. All right. We're not done. We're not done. Y'all ready for this? Number 24. Who y'all think number 24 is? Now, remember, I told you that this season really they held everything else against him, but they were like, okay, this season he balled out, so he deserved to make the cut. Right? Like, deserve to make the cut doesn't inspire any type of confidence. Right? Oh, he deserved to make the cut. Come on, Playboy. Get that man his flowers. Boy, he deserved to make the cut. He at least need to be on the team. Right? Well, someone at least needs to be on the team. Right? That means if they were making a team of 22 players, right? Kirby Joseph would be on the bench in this scenario. Okay? All right. Number 24. One spot above Kirby Joseph is Cooper DeJean. That's right. I said it. Cooper DeJean, the rookie. Cooper DeJean. Okay. Cooper DeJean, Philadelphia Eagles, 3-year grade, 86.3. How does he have a 3-year grade? How does he have a 3-year grade when he's a rookie? Now, PFF does grade players when they're in college. So you mean to tell me, does anybody want to tell me how you gave this rookie a 3-year grade? Did you put college, his last two college grades? Did you do that? Because if you did, that don't make no goddamn sense. Snaps played since 2022, 881 snaps. Average WAR since 2022, 0.55. Again, however they calculate wins above replacement is however they calculate wins above replacement. It says both DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell are worthy rookie Eagles cornerbacks for this list, though compared to the other larger sample cornerbacks who made the cut, only one fits into the top 25. DeJean's PFF grades across the board give him the edge. So you put Cooper DeJean in over Quinyon Mitchell. Okay. DeJean finished as the highest graded cornerback in 2024, 86.3, and ranked in the top 3 in both PFF coverage grade 84.2, and PFF run defense grade 90.4. He was the only NFL cornerback to place in the top 3 in all categories. The only thing keeping DeJean from being higher on this list is having played fewer than 1,000 snaps in his NFL career, the lowest snap count of any player in this top 25. So let me get this straight. He didn't play as much as anybody else. So if I play in the NFL, if I play 2 snaps and y'all throw the ball at me both times, and both of those times the receiver doesn't manage to come up with it, I allowed a 0% completion rate. I didn't give up any touchdowns. I don't have any responsibility for any broken plays or anything of this nature, because when I was in there, I was man coverage. They threw the ball at me twice. My guy didn't catch it, not once. Does that make me a shutdown corner because I played 2 snaps? No. No. All right. Let's move on to number 23 is Sam Laporta. I'm not gonna read everything about Sam Laporta because I don't want to react to it in a way because he's on my team. But they did talk about how basically he came out on fire as a rookie and then took a step back last season. Sam Laporta's rookie season resulted in him being a second team All-Pro. So if we're going to say, oh, he had a great rookie season, and that's why we're putting him in this list. So if we're looking at best seasons, Sam Laporta's resulted in the second team All-Pro. Kirby Joseph's resulted in the first team All-Pro. But Kirby Joseph is rated lower than Sam Laporta. It's PFF, man. I told y'all y'all were in for a treat. All right. Next one, number 22, Tyler Smith, Dallas Cowboys guard. Next one, number 21, Devon Achane, Miami Dolphins. Okay. Well, I'm glad I think he was higher on the list last season. So he looks like he's lower on the list. All right, number 20, Brian Thomas Jr., Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 19, wide receiver Ladd McConkey, Los Angeles Raiders. Number 18, Christian Benford, Buffalo Bills. Number 17, defensive interior Jalen Carter, Philadelphia Eagles. Number 16, cornerback Devon Witherspoon. Number 15, Malik Neighbors, New York Giants. Number 14, tight end Brock Bowers, Las Vegas Raiders. Number 13, cornerback Derek Stingley Jr., Houston Texans. Number 12, quarterback CJ Stroud, Houston Texans. Number 11, wide receiver Drake London, Atlanta Falcons. Number 10. Now, before I move on to number 10, I want y'all to tell me, have y'all identified a number of people that you think Kirby Joseph is better than? Big Wolf status, J-Mo's not on this list. But you can't really weigh in like that on a, I know it fits your narrative, but this is a PFF list. With Kirby Joseph being number 25, the last on the list, none of this makes sense. Uh, T-Bone Logue says Laporta took a step back because of QB selection. Okay, but does that? But his, I don't think he took a step back because of QB selection. But maybe it was the emergence of JMO. Maybe it was just how Osama used him in the offense. But he took a step back. And as I said, his first season was his best season, and that resulted in a second team All Pro. Kirby Joseph's best season resulted in a first team All Pro. And y'all got a first team All Pro at number 25. Now, going through this list, I haven't seen any other first team All Pros just yet. So I don't know. You're not going to have the same number of targets when you have someone like JMO emerge and get 1,000 yards receiving. And he's not going to have the same number of targets this year because Johnny Morton has said he wants to hit the deep ball. Chicks love the deep ball. He wants to hit them shots. Big Will status. I'm glad you asked that question. Number 10 on this list is Jahmyr Gibbs. Detroit Lions. 3-year grade, 90.2. Again, Jahmyr Gibbs has only played 2 years. I don't know how he has a 3-year grade, but it is what it is. It says Gibbs and Robinson are in a neck-and-neck battle to be the best young running back in the NFL, and they'll likely continue to be compared to one another throughout their careers after being separated by just 4 picks in the 2023 NFL Draft. The margins in which Gibbs and Robinson differ in PFF grades are also very thin. Gibbs finished 1 spot behind Robinson in PFF rushing grade in 2024. I don't know how. Gibbs has delivered more than 1,000 rushing yards and at least 400 receiving yards in both of his NFL seasons, postseason included, thus far, with 2024 being his most productive. He ranked inside the top 5 at his position in both rushing yards, 1412, and receiving yards, 517, in the regular season. Right above him, 1 spot above him, number 9 on this list is Bijan Robinson. Three-year grade, 91.0. Gibbs' 3-year grade was 90.2. Again, both of them have only played 2 years. And last season, Gibbs had a better season than Bijan Robinson. The first season that they played, the only reason Gibbs didn't pass Bijan Robinson in rushing yards, I think he was only 50, 60 away from him, was because he missed a couple games and didn't have the same amount of carries. When he started off the season, they eased him into the season. I wanted Bijan Robinson before I knew who Jahmyr Gibbs was. And I'm gonna keep saying this. A Bears fan hit me to who Jahmyr Gibbs was. I looked at the tape in college and I was like, wow. And he said he thinks that he's the guy that is going to go to the Detroit Lions, not Bijan. And he was correct. And even though he's a Bears fan, I give him his flowers. I give him his props. Bijan Robinson is a very good running back. I am completely happy that we got Jahmyr Gibbs. I do not want Bijan anymore. Jahmyr Gibbs is so damn explosive. Jahmyr Gibbs is a home run hitter. Jahmyr Gibbs ain't getting caught from behind. You know, Bijan Robinson may be Saquon Barkley-esque. I can see a few similarities. I could see Bijan hitting the backwards hurdle. But Bijan being above Jahmyr Gibbs, it's ridiculous. Bijan is splitting carries with Tyler Algier. Jahmyr Gibbs is splitting carries with a better running back in David Montgomery and still getting more production. Make it make sense, PFF. Make it make sense. I know what you mean, T-Bone Lokes, but I'm saying the step back is a step back. They're not being logical in the way that they're looking at these things, right? A person like Cooper DeJean had fewer snaps than everybody, but it's like, oh, like he's the best graded. How are you the highest graded? And they did this last year. They did this last year with Penei Sewell and Trent Williams. Trent Williams had played like 1,000 fewer snaps or something crazy. Like maybe it was 100. It was definitely over 100, right? He played over 100 fewer snaps than Penei Sewell, and then like, see, his percentages are better, but he didn't play as much. He didn't have the same opportunities. All right. A lineman's biggest job. Let's say you're doing pass blocking, because I think it was based on their pass block grade. Trent Williams and Tristan Wirfs, who they put both of those guys over Penei Sewell last year, and Penei Sewell played so many more snaps than both of them. Right. So how do you say, oh my God, right? This guy's sack percentage that he gives up is 1%, right? So he played 100 snaps and he gave up 1 sack. But this other guy played 1,000 snaps, and you're like, oh, see, he gave up 3-4 sacks. Okay. But the guy that played 100 snaps didn't have the ability to be in the trenches like the other guy, the guy that played 1,000 snaps. Right. So when your argument is he didn't get as many targets, I get what you're saying. But on this list, that's null and void. They don't even care about none of that. They care about WAR and 3. How are you giving a rookie a 3-year PFF grade? How do you give Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson a 3-year PFF grade when they've only played for 2 years? I don't know if it's an average. Just like you gave it to Cooper DeJean. How he's played 1 year. How do you average that out? I don't get it. Big Will status. Who thought you hated that? I know you hate JMO. I don't think you hate the Lions. Didn't know. Yeah. A lot of us didn't know who Gibbs was. Who's going to start, Gibbs or Montgomery? I mean, I think at this point it's very 1A, 1B. I don't think there's a starter. It's Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic comes first. I mean, if that's any indication of what they think. What up, though, Chip Bradshaw? No, not a skill regression. I don't think that Sam Laporta's skills have regressed. Again, like you said, it's the production. That's all. So this Bijan is number 9 for whatever reason. Okay, now guess who's number 8? Guess who's number 8 on this list? And I have a problem with this because of where he is. And this is this is about Kirby Joseph. This whole list is about Kirby Joseph right now. Brian Branch is number 8. 3-year grade, 87. Snaps played since 2022, 1855. Average WAR since 2022, 0.41. Branch is one of several young, promising Lions players to make this list, getting off to a great start in his NFL career through 2 seasons. He ranks behind only Kyle Hamilton among qualifying players on this list at the position in both career PFF overall grades and career PFF coverage grade 84.3. Branch's versatility has been a significant asset for Detroit as he served as a high-end nickel cornerback in year 1 before transitioning to a more permanent full-time role as a movable chess piece in Aaron Glenn's defense and never disappointing, earning top 15 PFF overall grades for his position in each season. Is Brian Branch a whole 17 spots better than Kirby Joseph? I mean, for us to say that we have the most dynamic duo at safety in the NFL, this list makes it seem like Brian Branch is carrying the safety room. It's not like you said Branch was 8 and Kirby was 9. It's not like you said Branch was 8 and Kirby was 10. Hell, it's not even like you said Branch was 8 and Kirby was 15. You said Branch was 8 and Kirby was 25. You said Kirby deserved to make the cut because of his last season. Just make the cut. Right? And what does make the cut mean? When we look at training camp this year and we look at once they get down to number 53 or once they get down to their 53-man roster, who is the 53rd man? What is he usually? The first one to get cut when they bring in somebody else who got cut from another team. That's who you're telling me Kirby Joseph is on this list. He just deserved to make the cut. It's ridiculous. You know the league don't like Kirby, but this is PFF. This ain't the league. If it was the NFL, maybe. PFF, I'm telling you, PFF, they are very contradictory of themselves. No regression for Sam. He was injured and offense had several contributors. He'll be full on if healthy. I mean, my thing with Sam is, if you look at Sam is a game plan guy. He's not going to be the high volume targets of Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's not going to be the deep threat of JMO, right? He's going to eat up in the middle of the field, especially when you give it to him. You got to look at the matchups, right? You look at a linebacker who's not Fred Warner, who's on Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta is going to eat him up, right? You look out the clear out. You look at the clear out space when JMO takes the top off. Excuse me. When JMO takes the top off of a defense, right? And you've got open field in the middle, okay? And they say, all right, well, since you want to clear out the top, now we're gonna double team Amon-Ra St. Brown underneath. Sam Laporta's open, right? So I don't think it's yeah. So Chip Bradshaw says 100%. The rookie receiver is starting over. You mean Tim Patrick? Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think he'll take some snaps from Tim Patrick, but I don't think he'll start over him. All right, let's continue this list. Number 7, edge Will Anderson Jr., Houston Texans. I don't have a problem with that. Edge Jared Verse, Los Angeles Rams. He's the defensive rookie of the year. I don't have a problem with this. However, again, remember I told you that one piece was going to be important about Kirby Joseph. He only did it for 1 year. That's what they said. He only did it for 1 year. So now these rookies that have literally only been able to do it for 1 year, why are they so high on the list? Shouldn't they be below? I mean, yes, Jared Verse, he won Rookie of the Year, so he should be about 15, right? Him and Cooper DeJean and all these rookies that they're putting on the list should not be any higher than 15, because you got to take a wait and see approach, right? That's what we're told. Kirby Joseph only did it 1 year. Okay. All right. Cornerback Trent McDuffie, number 5. Quarterback Jaden Daniels, Washington Commanders, number 4. Safety Kyle Hamilton, Baltimore Ravens, number 3. Wide receiver Puka Nacua, Los Angeles Rams, number 2. I'm wavering. I'm trying to see if you should swap out Kyle Hamilton and Puka Nacua. I feel like Kyle Hamilton is a more important piece on a better team. I mean, I think we would all agree that the Baltimore Ravens are better than the Los Angeles Rams, right? Because if we didn't believe that, then we would think that the Baltimore Ravens would get smacked, just like we think that we're going to smack the Los Angeles Rams this season once again. So I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not upset with Puka over Kyle Hamilton. I just do think that Kyle Hamilton is a more important piece on a better team. So, number 1, Penei Sewell, Detroit Lions. 3-year grade, 92.8. Sewell led this list last year, and after another dominant season as one of the 3 highest graded players at his position, his spot at the top remains solidified. Sewell's run blocking ability is his best asset, as he owns a 95.2 PFF run blocking grade for his career, the second best mark among all offensive linemen since entering the league in 2021. Most impressive about Sewell's top PFF overall grade is that he has played more snaps, 4,773, than any other qualifying player for this list, keeping him as the top player under 25 for 1 more year. So now remember, this is under 25, meaning you cannot be 25. And I don't think you can be turning 25, which is why Aiden Hutchinson is not on this list. The good thing about this list, it is full of Detroit Lions. You've got 4 players on this list, I think. Kirby Joseph, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch. No, you got 5. Okay, you've got 5 players on this list. No other team has more than 2. The Atlanta Falcons have 2 with Bijan and Drake London. Does anybody else have 2? The Rams have 2 with Puka and Jared Verse. The Houston Texans have 2 with Will Anderson and CJ Stroud. The Houston Texans has 3. Derek Stingley Jr. Philadelphia Eagles have 2. Yep. That's it. So coming in third is the Texans, or coming in second was the Texans. Coming in first was the Detroit Lions. That's Sinead Gerald Bowser. What up, though? You are very welcome. He says, Sewell is the heart and soul of the Lions, 100%. I do believe. The person that finalized the list is like a MAGA supporter. It makes no sense at freaking all. PFF sucks balls. Says Garrett Truth. I can see Tesla getting PT for his blocking ability. What has St. Patrick done? Well, Tim Patrick provided us with a number 3 wide receiver and a red zone threat when we didn't really have one. So yeah, PFF, man, PFF. I think PFF just it's about rage baiting. I don't even at this point. I don't think that they actually they make up stats. They make up stats. There was something like PFF said that Jared Verse had 89 pressures for the year and he only had 33. Like they make stuff up and they fudge the numbers literally to push the narrative that they have. But Kirby Joseph being number 25 on this list makes no sense to me. If anything, I would put Sam Laporta 25 because of the proximity. He's already 23. I would put him 25 and put Kirby Joseph up much higher. I mean, do I think he's 25? You could make a case for Sam Laporta to be 25 based off of the drop in production last season, but he's still a great player, right? Kirby Joseph literally has a first team all pro season. Not a second team. I'm not even saying, oh, he has an all pro season. No, a first team all pro season. First team, meaning he's the starting safety of the all pro team. That means he's the best safety in the NFL. And the best safety in the NFL, per the all pro selection, goes number 25 on the list of players under the age of 25. That's PFF for you, man. Kirby was an all pro. He's definitely top 3, says Garrett Troop. Yeah, I don't know what they were smoking. All right, so I did say we would get into this topic. I'm not gonna stay on it too long. The Detroit Lions, as you guys know, or you may have heard, or you may not have heard, they proposed a reseeding playoff rule at the owners' meetings earlier this year. The rule that they submitted was couched and it needed to be tweaked. So they've tweaked the new one. And this week, the NFL is going to they're going to vote on this rule change. Now, what the rule change will do is it will take away the automatic I think it will take away the automatic home game for the division winners. Basically, the seeding will be about the wins. I'm not 100% sure if it takes away the home game. It should take away the home game because if you're a lower seed, you should not be hosting a higher seed in the playoffs. And then also what would happen is that after every round, the teams will be reseeded so that the highest seed is always playing the lowest seed. Now, what this could do, the implications that this could have if they pass it, is that you're looking at teams down the stretch, maybe not resting players, maybe not resting starters. Now, the only issue that I have with this is, sure, I believe that if you are a better team record-wise, you should not be going on the road to a lesser team record-wise. But with people jockeying for playoff position and things of this nature, like for example, the Rams could have gone up to the number 3 spot, but they chose to rest their players, and then they went to the number 6 spot, and then they went into Philly and they lost the game. Yeah, they almost won. That's fine, almost, but they didn't. If they had gone for the number 3 spot, and I don't think that they'd have been number 3 based off of how this reseeding would work. If they had gone for a higher seed instead of resting their players, then they would not have had to go to Philly. They could have gone somewhere else. Because I do think that the division winners are still the highest seeded, right? So based off of your record and how you won the division, so obviously the Detroit Lions, their status would not have been changed. But if it's per record, then the Minnesota Vikings would have been, I think, the 2 seed or the 3 seed, because you have Philly win their division. So yeah, and then you had Detroit, Philly, Washington, and who won the West? Los Angeles. And based on records, I think Washington would have been the number 4 seed. So what would have happened there, I don't know. Because you still have the 5 and the 6 seed remaining. So whoever that would have been, but then there's no telling, because the Lions were the number 1 seed and they had to bye. We don't know who they would have played, right? Because it would have been reseeded at the end there. So it might have wound up that Washington was the lowest seed remaining. Might not have, but it should add a little bit more excitement to the end of the season. My only thing is this: what happens if you are trying to get that playoff seeding and one of your starters gets injured? Because it's always the same question about rest versus rust, right? If you're like, man, I'm comfortably locked into this number 1 seed, there's no need for me to play my starters, you're not going to play them. I think, well, it also depends. Like the Lions and the Vikings last season, you were playing for the number 1 seed in the bye. The only thing different is that the loser, meaning the Vikings in this situation, wouldn't have had to go on the road. And if they did have to, for whatever reason, they definitely wouldn't have played the Rams. So because of this, you would have had them still playing their starters because the race was so close. If the race isn't as close in the following years, then whoever is at the number 1 seed, it's like, it doesn't matter if we win, it doesn't matter if we lose, it doesn't matter if they, drop something in front of our house and there's a motion sensor. It doesn't matter. None of this stuff matters because we are comfortably ahead. We're 2-3 games ahead of everybody else. Okay. So you'll get that. And then you'll also get people who are at the opposite end of the spectrum who really, really, really need to win to get in. And then you have people in the middle of the pack and things of this nature. So I don't think that the excitement would go down. I think it would rise up. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about the playoff seeding rule? What up, though, Jared Colucci? I appreciate the sub, man. They were smoking meth. I think we're still talking about PFF. Opinions on the DJ Reed pickup? I think it was a good pickup. I think he's a comparable corner to Carlton Davis. He's just not as big, but I think he's got a knack for breaking up passes. He will get you some picks. He's sticky in coverage. It's good. I think it was a lateral move that needed to be made. If you weren't bringing back Carlton Davis, then you had to get somebody. That we can't trust Ennis Rakestraw just yet because we don't know who he is. We don't know what he is and what he will be in the NFL because we weren't able to see it much at all last season. For sure, we were broke down in the secondary. We used to employ people such as Cam Sutton, Jeff O'Hell Kuda, and the like. Mr. Detroit City says not tall enough. Aaron Glenn was tall enough. He's 5'9", just like DJ Reed. Just saying. Oh, never been to Cedar Point. Okay, I didn't see that one. I got taken to Cedar Point when I was a kid. I didn't know I was in Ohio. Never went back though. Found out I was in Ohio. Never mind. Wait, that's Ashton Genty. My bad. I think Ashton Genty's gonna be good, man. I think he's gonna be good. Tesla pickup. I didn't like what we gave up to get him. So now he's kind of under a microscope. So good player, but he's got some development to do. I am concerned about his lack of separation. He is going to be able to go up and get some 50-50 balls and make some contested catches. But is he the type of player that's going to live in that realm? Zero drops for sure. I'm just saying. If that's what you want, if that's the, and that's not what they want, because Ray Agnew has said, yeah, he does have to get better in his route running, and when you run crisper, cleaner routes, you get separation. That's how you create separation in the NFL. I don't think anybody's growing any inches in the NFL. I think that ship has sailed. I think he would have to miss a season if he got that surgery. I think there's a lot of rehab and stuff going on with that. At a wide receiver 4, it's a solid pickup. I'm not mad at the player that they picked up. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Everybody's like, oh, if things don't work out with Marcus Davenport, you can pick up a pass rusher at the deadline like we did last year with Zadarius Smith. What do you use to pick him up? Because with Zadarius Smith, I think you gave up one of your thirds for this year. And we don't have any thirds next year. They're all gone. Yeah, the trade up. That's what I'm saying. But and that's the thing. Because of the trade up, he's under a microscope now. Right? Because we gave up 2 third-round picks, now you got to see some production. It's the same thing that I've said about Ahmed. He's a 6th-round pick. I have no expectations. 0. Anything that he gives us is a bonus. If he gives us 10 sacks, that's a bonus. we've got a bonus of 10 sacks. If he gives us 1 sack, that's a bonus of 1 sack. If he gives us 1 TFL, that's a bonus for 1 TFL. Because people that are drafted in the 5th, 6th, 7th round are not generally expected to make the team. We don't expect them to, but they can make it. Mr. Detroit City, I'm not putting expectations on him. It's not fair. He was drafted in the 6th round. I'm saying it's not fair. He could be a stud, but it's not fair to expect anything from him. You think Z is done? Based off of his last season with 9 sacks, I don't think he's done. I still think he has some stuff left in the tank. He made it out of Egypt like he. Ain't you from Detroit? Talk about made it out of Egypt. What are you talking about? Stories don't win football games, bro. I'm like, look, we all, most of us are above 40, and we've been fans of this team for 30 plus years. Man, I'm trying to see a Super Bowl. I don't care about no stories no more. I'm sorry. Call me hard-hearted if you want. I just don't care. I know he's the first NFL player from there. But I'm not going to have expectations. It just, if you make the team and then you ball out, awesome. Thank you. You're helping my team. Right? Just like nobody had really any expectations for James Houston. You had to really look into his tape and really look into like his story and all these other things to see like, oh, last year in the SWAC he had 19 sacks in one season. Right? But it wasn't until after he came onto the scene, exploded onto the scene, and had 8 sacks in 7 games where people started to look into that. Me included. I didn't have any idea who James Houston was. But once he did that, I was like, oh, let me see. Let me look at his story. Let me see what happened. How did this guy fall so far down? And then, the next year he got injured and that was a wrap. Chip Bradshaw says Super Bowl over stories for real. Rodrigo, winning a Super Bowl is going to be a great story. Rodrigo sure did. Late pick. Right. Nobody had expectations for Rodrigo either until Hard Knocks. Until you heard Coach Shep say how he was balling out and he was about to put some old folks out of a job. No, but it's fine. Like when you're just like Mekhi Wingo, I don't have expectations for players who are drafted in the 6th round or the 7th round. Whatever they give us, and I'm not against them. I'm saying whatever they give us is a bonus. But to pin my hopes of winning a Super Bowl on a person that was drafted in the 5th, 6th, or 7th round, I'm not going to do it. You're not going to find me doing it. You just won't. Right? Like I said, Dominic Lovett, gotta love it. Love that. Love his tape. Love his ability. Like he's quick. He's fast. He's shifty. Right? He's gonna get you that yak. But he was drafted in the 7th round. I don't expect him to make the team. Right? I'm not saying he won't. I'm just saying it's not an expectation of mine. If it comes down to final roster cuts and he's one of them, I'm not going to be like, damn, I really thought he was going to make the team. I was really expecting it. No. And if he does make the team, I'm going to be like, that's what's up. Let's go. I hope he gets in and has the ability to showcase what he can do. A guy that was drafted in the 6th round who makes the team, you expect nothing from him except to be developed. That's all. You don't expect immediate starting. You don't expect immediate impact, right? He might be immediately a special teamer and then can work his way onto the active roster as something else. Yeah, I know James Houston's story. But because he didn't play at UF really because of the situation with the credit cards and all that other stuff, he kind of faded into oblivion and went to Jackson State. you know, so if you're not following the guys, from high school to college, sometimes they just pop up on the radar and they're under your radar. They weren't, what you had identified. All right, let's see. Garrick Troop says no one should have expectations for a rookie, period. Number one picks have become busts, so let the guys get a couple of years in and then judge them. Oh, facts. Facts. But the only thing is this. When you draft a guy in round number 1 and he's your first pick, Tyleek is expected to contribute from very early on. Why is he expected to contribute? Because Aleem McNeil is out. And Aleem McNeil will not be back until possibly Thanksgiving. Maybe a little bit sooner, but probably Thanksgiving. So because of that situation, you're looking at Tyleek as a person that should be ready to start day 1. That's just a situation, right? That's just a situation. It used to be that you could draft a quarterback, number 1 overall, and have him sit behind someone for a year. You could do that before. You can't do that anymore. So that's just the way that the NFL is. So when we come into an offseason and we have this type of need, and then you address that need in the draft, we'll strap up, buckle in, or buckle up and strap in, whichever way. I said that wrong. Buckle up and strap in. You got to do something as a rookie when you come through. That's just the way that I look at it. Does that make sense? Right? When you look at draft positions, everybody, like it or not, everybody will expect for your first round draft pick to come in and contribute something. Because a lot of teams will draft that rookie to fill a need that they have. I expect the same thing. I expect the same thing. Broderick Martin must finish his plate. Shout out to Broderick Martin, man. He's continuing to transform the body, man. He's continuing to lose some of that weight, get stronger every single time. But that's all I'm saying. I know it's not a popular opinion. We have our folk heroes in Detroit, but I'm just trying to win, bro. Like all that other stuff is cool. Great story, cool, fantastic, wonderful. How many Super Bowls we've been to? Oh my goodness, you over here killing Broderick. That's the one thing. about Broderick. Can't say he ever lost his hunger. That's crazy. That's very wild. That's very wild. So that's what I'm saying. I just want y'all to temper your expectations, man. You can be enthusiastic. I mean, you don't have to curb your enthusiasm, but just temper your expectations. I mean, you know, and again, I say it all the time. I understand that Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, was drafted in the 6th round, but someone had to get injured for him to get his opportunity. And once he got his opportunity, he never let it go. But nobody was expecting him to be what he turned out to be. Nobody was expecting that. Not even Michigan fans, which I am one of. Will he still be on the team by Christmas? He said, I want the same cake with all that icing. Yeah, Super Bowl cake. You know, all the icing on the top, all the icing around the sides. Hell, even put icing on the bottom. People don't do that, but hey, you know, you got one of those glass, cake stands. Put a little bit of icing on the bottom. It ain't gonna hurt. It's like a plate. Oh, you said you want some cake with all that icing. Did you just wake up with Broderick Jones today? Brad made the call, said we need Broderick on the field Thanksgiving and Christmas, as those 2 days alone put him back months of training and dieting. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all coming through. Any more questions? Any more comments not about Broderick Martin? Because I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. If you guys have not subscribed to the Motor City Cats podcast, please go do that now. We got a lot of viewers up in here. We got 80 viewers. Smash that like button, man. And then after we sign out, go over to the Motor City Cats podcast. Just go to YouTube, type in Motor City Cats, and you will see me. I will pop up there. And there's one thing that you should know when you see me is that the Motor City Cats are back at it. We came to give you stats and not static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. Appreciate you all once again, and we are out. Peace.